Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your host, your friend, your mentor, Dharam Singh, and I'm privileged today to have my guest as a very smart, very beautiful Suzana, and from originally, I think you were in South Africa, now moved to UK, so you have the best of both worlds. So, and recently moved to UK. I think you are originally UK and then moved to South Africa, or then now back to. Is that correct? Something like this.
Yes, that's entirely correct. So I'm South African. I lived 20 years in the UK. Then I went back to South Africa or Southern Africa to start a project, to run a
Yeah.
program. And then I relocated. I came back to the UK recently.
Fantastic. So thank you, Suzana, for accepting my invite and getting ready to this session. This kind of webinar takes a lot of effort. And thank you for putting your hand up. Dharam, I'm ready. I'm going to contribute my knowledge to the audience here. And thank you, all of you, for coming again and again. And I can see lots of familiar name, and I will probably call out some name later on. But at this stage, I'm very excited, very happy to have Suzana here, and we're going to have a very exciting discussion on a very important, a very hot topic, which most people are talking. And we're going to talk about what is AI and what's the myths around AI, and how AI can help us machine learning. So I'm not a specialist. Suzana is coming with that mind. She has done a lot of work in that space, and she will throw lots of light on that. So thank you again to all the people joining from all part of the world. And I know some people are joining in the middle of night, early morning. I know you're hungry for knowledge. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Suzana, once again. And I'm sure we're going to have a very exciting session today. For a few things, I have, if you are preparing for PgMP PfMP, I have shared two links on the chat. If you have not watched them before, this is the time you can watch. I'm talking here what is PgMP, what is PfMP, and the journey you have to take or you should take, consider taking, and what are the various things you have to encounter, and how you to how overcome them. So Suzana actually did a GMP recently, 17th of November 2022. She wanted to do it before she transitioned herself from South Africa to UK, and she did her move on 24th of November. So she was happy to do that. Now she has achieved her one of the big goal, and congratulations, Susanna, for your exciting and beautiful achievement. How are you feeling after getting your PGM?
It was a relief. I was very, very, very happy that it was over and done with. And
Yeah.
if I look back now, I do remember everything that I studied. It was a long, in my case, and I don't know how many people are listening in today, but in my case, it was a long and arduous journey. Um, in the first year, I got COVID, so it was extended. The time that PMI allocated and allowed me to prepare was over 2 years. So it was pretty, an arduous journey.
Yeah. No, look, at the end of the day, you have accomplished what you want to achieve. There are a lot of things happen, and I have been following you from the day one. I was trying to encourage you and get you on the path. COVID and your relocation, movement, and jobs and other things, lot has impacted. So, and you tried once, and unfortunately that was not a successful attempt. And I'm glad that you said that I'm going to get it done. Don't worry about it. So things do happen. Sometimes logistic problems. Sometimes you're not feeling comfortable with the exam. So, but the good thing is that Susanna took Dharam, I'm going to do it, and she prepared hard and made it possible. So once again, congratulations, and happy to have you here in this in my panel as my panelist. So it's good to have people like you here.
Thank you, Dharam. Yes, it was very good to have you on my side and encouraging me as we went through this process together.
Exactly. So people who know about PgMP PfMP, so these two certificates are the most prestigious certificate from the program manager's point of view or portfolio manager point of view. And these are not straightforward, easy exam, you know. But if you follow the life, journey, uh, if you follow the direction and mentally, visualize them, and you can complete it. So there are life brings lots of ups and downs, and busy schedule, and home movement, all kind of things. But the important is you stay focused, and you know continue to believe in yourself. And that's what I can see from Susanna's journey. She started 2 years ago with me in the personal mentor program, and then she continued. And then COVID hit, and many things happened, and I'm very happy, very very happy to have you accomplish your certificates.
Thank you.
So guys, I have, as I said, I've shared a couple of links on the chat. Please download that. And I will be offering you PDU. So I've changed a little bit. So PDU, I will be sending you whoever registered and attended this session. I'll be organizing a email with a link to the video once it's ready, and also the PDU code. Okay, so don't panic. Hey, Dharam, when are you going to give me PDU code? So you will get a PDU code, but just maybe have to wait 3-4 days before I can organize the email for you. And the people watching it as a recording on the YouTube, so you will also get PDU as long as this is within 1 year, because PMI allow 1 year of we actually have 1 year of window for PDU like using. So if you're watching before in 7th of December 2023, you will be able to earn PDU. All right, good. I can see lots of people already registered here, and that shows the excitement they are interested in the topic. So thank you guys, and let me introduce Susanna. Susanna is an award-winning, highly capable, proactive professional with expertise in innovation, corporate strategy, and program management. She has 15 plus years of experience delivering sustainable business solutions with intelligence gained from exposure across digital trade, mega infrastructure, as mega infrastructure for reputed organizations such as World Bank, Facebook, Center of Technology and Law, UK Aid, GIZ, UN Women, Oxford Policy Management. Wow, so many, and all big names. Great stuff. She has been instrumental in leading and providing thought leadership and business intelligence to startups. Yeah, I know about this. And big tech, corporate, and supranational and development agencies. Susanna has leveraged expertise from complex program management, entrepreneurship, and cutting edge technology to deliver transformative products. It's a great profile to have, and a great experience she has, and I'm privileged to have here. So she has spent time to be ready for this session. We have questions, and she has prepared for you, and we're going to talk about various questions. So, Susanna, anything you like to add to what I said?
No, that's all fine. Thank you. Thank you, Dharam.
All right, so guys, you have option to ask questions on the question pad whenever you feel like you have a question. You put your question on the question pad, and you have follow up question. Whatever me and Susanna are going to talk, please put that, and you can use chat for the asking questions specifically to me, or and let's make it more interactive, as interactive as possible. More question you're going to ask, you feel engaged. By the way, I do have 3 questions received from the registration, and I will take those questions at the end once we come out. We have done all the questions. So, Susanna, are you ready?
Yes.
Great stuff. Great stuff. So, once again, thank you. Thank you for preparing for this session. I'm very excited to hear from you. So today's topic is around artificial intelligence. I think you all are familiar with artificial intelligence, machine learning, a lot of buzzwords going around. and we will talk about impact of artificial intelligence on large complex projects, programs. So many things we are doing, and can we automate something, some of the important tasks we do, and focus on important actions or customer collaboration or stakeholder engagement rather than worrying about your admin work or your reporting and your risk management. Yes, we all require that. But if we can automate some of these work as a project and program manager, our life will be so smooth and so easy. Do you agree with this, Susanna?
Well, that is, I would not say AI is as simple as that. So it's a very large topic,
Yeah,
and it needs to be broken down into many different sectors. And we also need to understand how are we going to be applying AI to what is the end goal? Just like we start on a program and we want to know what is the end goal and what are the benefits of
yeah,
actually delivering a program or a project, I'd say it's very similar with the application of an AI. And more so when we think about AI, because AI, there's elements of AI that are not explainable. AI, if we're talking about deep learning and neural networks, they're not necessarily, the predictions that come from those systems are not transparent. So we're sitting with instances of predictions that are opaque, and if anything goes wrong, then we don't necessarily, or we can't necessarily explain how we came to those results. So when you ask me, should we all be applying AI? I would answer that with many different caveats
yeah.
because of the complexity.
Exactly. It's not that easy. Okay, all my risk management I'm going to automate. I will do all automate. You need to, yeah, a lot of learning has to happen, a lot of analysis has to happen, and right tool, right, platform which can help you with that. So I will actually talk about a system. If you are looking for a system which can help you in automate a lot of things, I can talk about that. So my question to you, the first question I have, whether artificial intelligence will accelerate the digital transformation process in organization.
Okay. Well, what I would be saying is that AI or machine learning in project management really does depend on a number of factors. Firstly, on the individual, on us as program managers. Secondly, and I'll run through these separately, the organization and the culture and behaviors of the individuals within that particular organization or in our organization. So in order to implement AI with the end goal of accelerating the digital transformation, we need to ask ourselves if the organizational leadership is willing and ready to adopt these digital solutions and the changes that will come with it. We'll have to ask what support will be offered to staff, to the contractors that we are working with, in order to exploit the AI solution. So our role as program managers will start to focus more on change, culture, and behavioral management as we move forward. We also have to understand how these intelligent solutions will augment our skills. So there's a lot spoken about augmented program management, augmented project managers. So that really means we need to understand what is a symbiotic relationship between human and machine, and to what end, for what reason are we wanting to apply these technologies. The purpose of adopting AI must be clearly articulated and fit within the overall program delivery. In most instances, this will require a strategic realignment of the organization. We'll have to focus again on behavioral change as we move to capture quality data. And data is a big factor when it comes to AI. We'll have to consider how do we coach and motivate staff to upskill themselves and to develop a mindset where we are using more data, we're interacting with data consistently. So we've already seen that in the pandemic provided us with a view of how the digital world works. And we're also confronted with a different set of concerns around AI. And that is namely around privacy, ethical, regulatory, and cybersecurity issues. And these are the factors that have to be incorporated into the program and project management domains, irrespective of the sector that we are working in. So our remit as program or project managers suddenly becomes much larger than what we are doing at the moment. So yes, the mundane and the repetitive tasks can be eliminated with the application of AI, but we have different skills, or we need to develop different competencies in order to enable us to engage with the AI solution.
Good stuff. Okay. Yeah, and definitely AI. You mentioned that we can automate a lot of things, but we have to be careful as well what we can and we can't automate. And yeah, so no, look, I'm really excited to know more about AI and how this will change my life. I can pivot. I do a lot of Excel spreadsheets and this and that. I feel, yeah. Anyway, I can keep talking about myself. So anyway, so I have another question for you, and okay, this is will AI take over repetitive mandate task, liberating the project to program managers? My question to deal with people, stakeholders, sponsor, user, and team members. What will be the new form of project work look like?
Sorry, what will be the new form of?
Project work look like? You know how the project work will look like?
That's an interesting question. So, okay, I like to think of this through the lens of mega and complex programs and projects, and specifically because these have longer durations, and within these types of programs we can actually start to apply AI. So I want us to do some time travel today, and I want us to jump into the year 2032, which is 10 years from now, and to imagine that we have been asked or commissioned to deliver a large-scale program by the year 2040. And on this particular program, let's say we'll have a workforce that exceeds 10,000 people, and we'll be working with several hundred vendors. Here, AI has the potential to be completely transformative in the way that we are delivering the programs. But it's very important, and I think I like to use this as an example because by the year 2032, we'll be operating in some form of metaverse, or at least we'll be living in an environment where our physical world will be immersing with a virtual world. And each human, each organization will have a digital identity, a digital twin, and we will be holding on to digital assets and trading in the metaverse. And all this activity will be recorded on the blockchain. So in this digital world, we'll be relying on big data, the Internet of Things, the cloud to augment our capabilities, the organization's capabilities, and to optimize our program delivery. So, for example, we can say that we are going to use a blockchain. And in this blockchain, we're going to store every team member's digital identity. We're going to store the smart contracts. We'll be using the blockchain to process payments to program suppliers. We'll be integrating program decisions and agreements onto a semi-public blockchain. And this will all increase transparency among stakeholders and for the program. But that's not so far-fetched because already today, blockchain is a fully integrated and tested technology. And we have traders that are involved in the diamond sector. They are trading on the blockchain because the blockchain allows them to trade in a more transparent and secure environment. So similarly, we can use the blockchain to record the activity associated, or let's say, the procurement of long lead items, where parties holding the relevant blockchain keys can query how resources are applied And if there are any contractual issues, this can be verified with the smart contracts that are stored on the blockchain. Another element, for example, by the year 2032, most of us will check into our virtual workplaces with our digital identities, and we'll use this meta space to simulate new programs in real time, just like playing Minecraft. And we can form program scope instantaneously with the help of an AI, which is collecting and analyzing stakeholder feedback in real time. All this is possible. And some of these applications already are being used individually today. But within the next decade, what we will find is that we will be layering more of these technologies that we can deliver projects more precisely. And I think this is how our roles will change, and the field of program and project management might change, is that our performance metrics and the success criteria will be more precision focused and will be more vested in transparency, ethics, and ensuring that our project outcomes are aligned with social and environmental goals. So for me, at least, I think it's a very exciting time to be a program and project manager, because it changes our perspectives and we become more human almost as we start to interact with an artificial intelligence agent.
Are you saying we'll be becoming more human rather than, because currently we are human and we are
We'll
working
become
hard and
more, very good question, Dharam. We'll become more empathetic. So we'll be more aware of each other's emotions, because the artificial intelligence can do more of the mundane and repetitive tasks.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's what my thought process. Yes, if somebody can take over my repetitive work, and then I can be more focused on my audience. Let's say in my case, the people like you come to talk to me about my program, so I can be more focused on, rather than worrying about marketing events and this event, and somebody can, if that can be automated, why not? Great stuff. Thank you. I have a question, and it's a very basic question. Please, can you define what is AI? Okay, is it like the human brain with human intelligence to be able to simulate humans, or is AI something that will follow instructions and is unable to simulate human emotions? People use AI as a buzzword, and in reality, it is series of PF process and some performance process and branches. This is in my mind. Not AI, as we had this sort of technology for 50 years. So you got a question, should I repeat it? I think let me repeat it.
Yes, it's a very lengthy
Yeah,
question. That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So
So I think he wanted to clarify what the AI really means versus what we think as a repetitive work or something like
it's a very good question, because in many instances we are using AI as a catch-all phrase or a
that. Yeah.
catch-all term, because we do have algorithms or just basic statistical models that are being termed as AI, and they're not necessarily AI. So
Mhm.
it's a very good point to clarify that AI consists of machine learning and deep learning. So deep learning is a subsector of machine learning, or it can be, or deep learning can also be termed as a neural network model. But both of these types of models, when trained, they recognize patterns, they detect anomalies, and they also provide automated responses and predictions. Yes, which different types of algorithms can also do. But what we what AI relies on is vast amounts of data. And then through the data, we develop models. So it can be divided into supervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. And we train these models through these different types of learning mechanisms to come to analyze the data and to come up with a either automated response or a prediction. And there's various types of algorithms that are implemented, and so machine learning will have different types of algorithms in comparison to deep learning. Another important point or distinction between machine learning and deep learning is that machine learning requires more human intervention and can run on slightly smaller sets in comparison to deep learning, where the models are rather, the neural network is able to determine the representations and relationships within the data that is provided to it in order to accomplish a task. So deep learning requires a lot more data points and it is more opaque. And the second element that we need to consider when we're talking about AI is that currently all the AI that exists, be it machine learning or deep learning, is that it is weak AI. And what this means is that it will not replace us as humans. So these AI models have been taught to accomplish one or two tasks. They cannot rationalize. They will not be able, for example, a self-driving car will not be able to stop and think, okay, so it is raining. The person that is sitting inside the car probably won't want to get out of the car now because they're going to get wet. They aren't able to contextualize unless it has been specifically programmed for that particular eventuality. So I hope this explains where we are with deep learning and machine learning.
Yeah. So follow-up message from him is AI cannot be a black box. There must be gates and checkpoints for humans to examine the process and intervene. That is, if we do not have such gates, then we will get garbage out, like garbage in, garbage out, like the global warming model that have always been wrong, like the COVID deaths toll, which was a fiction and confused word to lockdown and kill millions, not from the COVID, but other issues. And currently, access death has increased 40%, not related to COVID, but stemming from the lockdown, like cancer and other illness.
Well, I agree. We always have to keep humans in the loop, and we can't just hand over all these predictions, or we can't rely on all the predictions that are coming out of AI models, because in some instances we don't understand how these AI models are coming to that particular conclusion. So there are many debates about how do we make these neural networks explainable. And there are many teams working on this right now. So it is a very complex area. And the topics of explainability, transparency, trustworthiness, fairness continue. Yeah.
Right. Good, good. And thank you for the questions. It's that's where we go interactive. But thank you, Suzana, for explaining. A lot of these questions are my question as well. I'm thinking for a long time. What is AI? Always everybody talk about AI and all these things. Yeah. So I'm learning a lot from this session. So thank you. Thank you for asking this question and thank you for your answer. Okay. So my next question is: how can technology augment human skills and reinvent operating model in large-scale project programs?
So I did prepare an answer for that. So just looking.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can AI augment our skills as a program manager? I want to start with a caveat, and that is we need to have data. And the data that we have has to be of good quality, because if we do not have good quality data, then there's a chance that the support an AI can give us probably won't be good. Okay, but as program managers, it can help us with, let's say, risk management, since Risk management falls into the domain of predictive analytics. The data is already structured. It can also help us with the information sharing process, the initial stages of onboarding new team members for coaching and training in a simulated environment through the use of virtual assistants and virtual reality. We can also apply image recognition and robotics to support in quality, safety audits, and then these can be recorded onto the blockchain. So it frees up the time of the quality manager to begin to focus on other tasks like stakeholder engagement or working with the data scientists on actually improving the model. We can also use language processing to improve governance, as most governance-related activities are based on standards and structured frameworks. We can use machine learning to explore budgeting between projects. However, we require that the projects are similar because, as I stated earlier, if AI cannot contextualize and it can't generalize, and therefore, if the projects are dissimilar, it won't be able to function properly. Another area is knowledge management. So we can apply natural language processing to run queries and to gather insights from historical final reports or from lessons learned that have been captured at program closure. For example, Betal, the construction and engineering firm, they've gathered data from all their previous projects and they've developed their own big data analytics center. And they're now using the analytics to gamify the scheduling process for future programs to ensure project delivery. But herein lies a challenge with AI, and that it might forecast diversions from the program schedule, but it cannot resolve the conflict among the stakeholders if they don't actually agree on that scheduling sequence. So AI can help us, can augment us with certain skills, but when it comes to those very personal interactions, we still need people to be involved.
Yeah, so good. So that's what it is. The question. Let me read the question as well because it's part of the discussion. Do we have AI consciousness currently? I remember reading Microsoft engineer said he believed was so, but was instantly fired for saying so. This lead me to believe that it might be true, and we have supercomputers that are awake and thinking, simulating the human brain to a level that would think that AI is alive. Please confirm. Please confirm. Have we reached this technology level? And if not, how many years are we away from getting the technology?
That's a brilliant question. How many years? I knew that. I think I'd be the next Bill Gates or Elon Musk for that matter.
So
We don't have general.
How many years are we away from getting the Terminator Skynet being?
Very good question.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
If I look into my crystal ball, I just don't know. My crystal ball response, I don't know. What I do know, though, is that we don't have general AI. So we still got a weak AI. And yes, we do have Alpha Zero and all the different, the updated versions of Alpha Zero. But these AI models have been trained to do a very specific task, and they have become very good chess players. And from my reading, these AI models have the capacity of over 12,000 human brains. So that already raises the question, when we're thinking of applying an AI to our program, do we really need to have that brain power sorting out a particular issue? Are we not overshooting the particular problem? But specifically to the question is, we don't have a human-like AI agent that can perform as a human at the moment. And when you talk to data scientists, we don't know. We don't know if it will be possible and when it will be possible. Because this is the interesting thing about humans. We evolve, we adapt. So we constantly reconfiguring ourselves. And I don't know if an AI can reconfigure itself without learning, even though we say AI has the capacity to teach itself. It still is teaching itself within the parameters of the data that has been presented to it.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you. Interesting discussion. Thank you. I like it. I never expected AI is going to be that interesting. Anyway, so my next question is how decision making based on complex algorithms involving neural network impacts the expectation of project stakeholders.
Yeah, this is very good. So let's pause and think, what is AI really good at? AI is very good at monotonous, repetitive tasks and not necessarily dealing with social, perceptive, and contextualization skills. So that's not to say that we can't use AI or neural networks to interact with stakeholders. We can, but at what degree of complexity are we going to be engaging with our stakeholders through a neural network? So there's a division of AI called empathetic AI. And empathetic AI is being developed to monitor our biometrics, to how we blink, our facial expressions, our grimaces, so that they can determine our emotions. And they, as in scientists, believe that in time we can use more empathetic AI in order to engage with other people and to combine. Here again, we're always combining, layering different pieces of AI technologies in order to gauge how a person is reacting, the emotions that an individual is feeling, so that they can then use other forms of AI to give a response on a particular subject. However, I would say that we can use AI, at least natural language processing or sentiment analysis, to be answering very basic questions or to be gauging how do our stakeholders feel about a particular program. As a program is being rolled out, we can utilize a natural language processing model to go through bodies of data, let's say through Twitter feeds, to understand and to pick up if there is any negative connotation arising from stakeholders on our particular project. So it can be used at that level. We can also use another technology, which is a form of NLP and style transfer, to help us draft letters or communication, which we can then disseminate to stakeholders. So we can customize our correspondence or our communication with different types of stakeholders using this type of AI technology. We can also use voice recognition to streamline team communication, and we can store this. And all this data together can become part of our information repository on programs, which can be used for future projects if we're querying future projects. So I don't think right now we're capturing voice in our information knowledge repositories, but in future we can, because we'll be able to investigate voice conversations as well.
Okay, good. I have a question, simple question. Can AI replace me?
I don't think so. I don't see AI replacing me, so it wouldn't be replacing you.
that's important. Yeah, so teaching can be done by anybody. Repeat, voice and slides and everything, but human emotions and connecting with the person is also. I think that's where I can put my IP. All right. So I have a wait. Ashok, thank you for your continuous participating in the discussion. And it seemed that the webinar, we just have one-way conversation and we can just read your, if we have use other mechanism, it can be more interactive. But let me read it out. But thank you for asking all this, participating in the question. Will human augmentation, also called Elon Musk's brain chip, ever become a reality? If so, how many years are we away? And what about the ethical constraints about AI or brain being chipped? Elon believes AI is dangerous and needs to have rules around it, and that we are considering. That we are not considering. Let me read. Elon believes AI is dangerous and need to have rules around it that we are not considering.
So that goes back to the whole topic around explainability, fairness, transparency, accountability. And there are various organizations or regulatory bodies around the world that are working on these very topics. How do we control what an AI can do? And it opens up the conversation around ethics and privacy, which is very important when we're considering AI. And it's a huge field around ethics, which is being developed with various global institutions. Because as you just rightly said, AI, if it's not monitored and it's not regulated, it can be very dangerous.
Exactly. All right. Okay. All right. So I have a few questions from my audience. Previously, they provided, and I think we have Rajesh here. Rajesh, I have a couple of questions from you. What are the most challenges we see in incorporating AI into project management domain? Knowing that still we are far behind in digital maturity, especially if we talk about project management. You got the question?
Yes. So I'm going to reframe that question,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope that it answers the question. So what can project managers and program managers do to ensure that we become digital age ready? And that is, there are AI models that are being implemented in well, I don't know what our industry is, but we can start. I think there's a broad variety of industries represented today, but we can look to see how different organizations are implementing AI applications in their particular projects. Now, we can upskill ourselves just by familiarizing ourselves about those particular applications. And then we also have to start to think, what is our organization doing? Are they responding to the digital transformation? Is the organization agile enough to exploit the opportunity? Because if it is not, then even if they adopt an AI solution, the intelligence that comes from that AI solution might be wasted. Then we can take a step back and we can think, okay, now I need to dig deeper into what is AI. And we need to start familiarizing ourselves with the broad concepts of AI, which I've touched on. We don't need to become AI experts, but what we do need is to understand how AI functions, the different models, the issues of data drift, biases, and be aware that neural networks are opaque, which, as I've said, is a huge issue if there are claims or accidents on a particular project, because in all likelihood, we will be unable to explain a model's prediction if it is a deep learning model. So then there's the whole world of regulation that is coming to the fore with how do we implement AI? How can we transfer data? Is the portability of data allowed between different jurisdictions? We need to understand this. So again, the justification as to why AI is being used on a project or program needs to be thought out very clearly, especially who is accountable. If we apply an AI tool, who is accountable if there's a mistake? And AI does fail. AI can be hacked. The next thing that we need to consider is we need to understand where's the data coming from. Do we have good quality data? And how is this data being used to train the models? Because garbage in will result in garbage coming out. So we have to have large repositories of data because these repositories will be divided to train and then to optimize the model. And in some instances, we need new data to continue improving those particular models. So we've got to understand where is this data coming from and how much data is required in order to be AI ready.
Good job. Yeah, lots of things going on. Anyway,
there's a lot to consider when it comes to AI.
Exactly. All right. Okay,
There's another important point which I didn't mention, and that is we should feel comfortable having these conversations with data scientists.
Yeah.
That's very important because data scientists and data engineers in the future will form part of our delivery teams.
Oh, yes.
And that is why we need to understand the concepts so that we can have these conversations from a actual development perspective, from a robustness perspective, and then also to challenge the data scientists of the development team on those ethical issues and whether we are transgressing any of the regulations that are being developed.
Yeah, and so then I actually talked to you about that some time back, that we have built a system, in collaboration with my team, back in India. It's very advanced AI-based, machine learning-based project management platform where you can a lot of decisions are made by the machine itself or the system itself. So we call it VxDCC, Virtual Transformation Digital Command Center. So basically doing everything in the same center, same piece of platform. So that kind of the new innovation happening in that space, and look for the tools, the platform which can help your project management, automate your lot of things, and make your life a little bit easier, and allow you to focus more on your human interactions, like stakeholder engagement, and doing benefit realization and other things. So that's where it is. So if anybody is interested to know more about VxDCC, please ping me or contact me. We can talk about that. So I have a follow up again. Ashok, thank you again for participating in the discussion. And I read about medical industry wanting to develop micro robots that they can inject into the bloodstream to assist in repairs. Wow. In this technology, just a pipe dream? Is this technology just a pipe dream? Or I cannot imagine such small robot, even how it can help in repairing human body from inside. And loving the clear responses. Okay, so there's a follow-up thing. Please note, loving the clear response Suzana had given. Thank you for that. The level of information being conveyed is at the next level. Thank you, Suzana and Dharam. Okay, good. Thank you, Ashok, for appreciating, and of course, what Suzana is doing a great job by explaining all these things. So, Suzana, what do you think about the small, tiny robot going inside my bloodstream? I don't know how tiny, nanometer we talking, and have a screwdriver and some kind of instrument and fix my arteries and veins.
Well, the bad news is it's already happening. So I can I can actually think of two instances. The one is diabetic patients. They are being injected with a plaster that monitors their glucose levels. And there's a reading, and from that reading, the doctors can be alerted as to what needs to happen with particular doctors or nurses. A medical professional is being alerted to the particular glucose readings of a particular individual. I hope this makes sense. So from that instance, yes, it is happening. So many of us, well, many people have pacemakers, and these pacemakers, the data is also being streamed to a center that if there is a medical professional on the other side, they can say that this particular individual, their heart function is poor or it's normal. So it is happening. And when it comes to the medical profession, I actually think that artificial intelligence is very important, right from detecting tumors, which artificial intelligence, there have been studies that demonstrate that AI is more precise in detecting a tumor than a particular health professional. Also, when we look at rare diseases, in some instances, we can apply artificial or facial recognition to actually pick up on very minor facial distortions that are correlated with rare diseases, which an ordinary medical professional would probably not pick up until the actual patient is starting to display symptoms of that particular illness. And if it's rare, a rare genetic illness, it might take years before that illness is actually picked up or even diagnosed correctly. So I would not be too scared about being injected with a robotic device or an IoT medical device, because it is in our best interest. And the healthcare profession is one of the most developed when it comes to ethics.
Yeah, I like to see that they have a camera and noting down any cell and everything.
Yeah.
Good. And yeah, Shoghi is asking, can you recommend any books or resources, free resources we are covering in this meeting? It's a fascinating project subject itself. Do you know? Do you have any books? You sound like you're like a doctor. You're talking with a project manager, program manager. You talk like a doctor as well sometimes.
So I'm very interested in the application of AI in medicine. I just find it a fascinating topic. What I can do is I can share some resources. Dharam, I can send them to you, and then you can distribute it. Yeah, I think it's just a very, very interesting topic. I'll go through what I have. Some of it will be YouTube clips, others might be papers, and I'll share.
Yeah, do that, and I will when I'm sending the email with the video code and video, I will provide those links along with that email. Good, thank you. I do have a couple more questions from audience. Again, coming from Rajesh, how this neural network is contributing to project and program management.
So I'm pausing because I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So most artificial intelligence relies on machine learning and neural networks. So there's an integration between the two. But we can utilize neural networks, for instance. I like to use the scenario of we need to determine the air quality on a particular offshore oil plant. And we can do one of two things. We can get an autonomous vehicle on the site with sensors to drive around the site to determine whether the air quality remains within those parameters or not. So we've got data being streamed as the autonomous vehicle drives around a particular plant back to a station. And within that, we have data analytics that are reading through the data and allowing the program manager to understand whether the air quality is within those parameters. So that is one instance of how a project manager could be using a robot or autonomous vehicle sensors to help them design the project and to improve the efficiencies of a particular project.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Actually, I got very good feedback. Actually, please can Suzana come back in another webinar? This is such a good topic, and I know Suzana has more to tell us.
Oh, I have a lot to tell, and I'm quite happy to have a next topic. And perhaps what we can do, instead of it being so broad, we can actually talk about one or two different technologies and how these can be applied. Or we can look at a particular branch of AI and talk about that. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. So let's good. Thank you for suggestion. And our thinking, while she's talking, I wish I can get back, back her on my one of my next webinar and talk again and more, because I'm learning a lot from the whole discussion, AI and all kind of things. So yeah. So thank you for the suggestion. Yes, I think Suzana will be happy, and I will be more happy to have her back in my webinar. So thank you. This is actually a testimony for your kind, sharing of knowledge. Thank you, Suvik. Thank you, Ashok, for your kind. Yeah. Okay, last question from him. He said, I mean, you can say last question, but we can take a question. So the Tesla cars have been 5 years away from self-driving for the last 20 years. So they have been telling that. Do you believe it will happen soon, next 5 years? What about ethical reasoning is needed? Crash into people or avoid that, crash and kill? One person ethical question, and what's your view on that?
So I want to divide this and separate passenger vehicles from actual transportation. Logistic vehicles, because in the logistics industry, especially in America, I do believe that there are autonomous trucks on the road.
Yeah, actually, I tell you, I did a PMP class for a company called Cruise. They are San Francisco-based company, and they already have a working vehicle in San Francisco, and they are trialing out. I don't know, it was one year ago. And this is self-driven. You just sit there, and the car will take you from one destination to another destination. Along with the other traffic and other things happening. I've seen them when I was in Bay Area. I've seen some of these cars with lots of cameras and lots of sensors. I know they were piloting at the time, but this is not far away. Whether Tesla will come up, I think Tesla will also come up with that. But yeah, you can go ahead with that. I mean, yeah, I know many companies are doing this kind of work already.
So there's a lot of companies, and we also have to look to see what China is doing, because China has just started with manufacturing their own self-driving car. So how are they going to tackle the ethical issues? And the West will definitely learn from what China is doing. There are ethical issues, and actually, I will look for a particular paper. I do have a paper on this topic, and I will distribute it because it talks more precisely about how, because it's Tesla and there's another manufacturer, how the one got more media attention than the other, and why was that? And I can't remember the exact details today, but I will include that in the pack of information that I sent to Dharam. Sorry, I can't answer the question fully.
Okay, no worries. I will take one more last question. It was given to us previously. And by the way, this happened to be my next guest in my next couple of weeks. His question is, since you have been assisting startup with tech piece, how do you define ROI parameters? For example, AI integration for tech in startup ecosystem on date.
Yes. So the particular startup that I have been working with on AI and the deployment of an AI ethics model, at the moment, the majority of funding is coming from the UK government. So ROI is not necessarily a huge concern at the moment. But in the same manner that we are thinking about the integration of any IT system, we would look at our ROI in the same way. What is the long-term investment on what is the long-term return from applying this particular technology?
Yeah. Okay. So these are my questions, and thank you for your kind responses, and thank you. I like to say thank you to Rakesh for giving advanced question and Depender, and Ashok for participating in the discussion. You just like our team, just like I'm talking to Suzana, you have been putting your questions there, and I can see lots of familiar name. My college mate Piyush is there, and we have studied together a long time back, in I think 30 around years. And I can see Michael Shorts. I worked with him, and I can see Teju. She has joined already gone through my PgMP program. She also working in PfMP. So I can see lots of people. Carol is there, and many people who already uh, work with me on one way or another. And I'm looking forward to supporting more and more people. So guys, what Susanna is doing today, you can be one of Susanna. And I invite people who have a lot to communicate, give back. And I realize that Susanna has, just like you realize now, that Susanna has a lot to offer. And I see that, and I communicate it. And she said, also it's not only my wish, and Susanna has to, or rather, you have to also accept my request. And then we come up with, build the questions and talk about that, and a lot of preparation required to come to this point. So Susan has to work hard. I have to work hard. My team has to work hard, and you have to work hard and sacrifice your 1 hour and a half hour with us to learn from us. So all of you, including myself, we deserve some thank you. And Susanna, especially, she has been on the hot seat, and she has been answering not only my questions but questions put together by Ashok, actually, Ashok Sinha. Singha, sorry, Ashok Singha. And yeah, and if you need any other questions you have for me, and if you like to have guidance on project management, program management, portfolio management, PMP, PGMP, PFMP, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are following. And now I have 70 PGMP in this year, so including Susanna. So this is my second highest. I still have 20 days to go. I'm hoping to go around 80 PGMP in this year. A lot of people in pipeline. So all of you who's preparing hard, and I know at least one person is here. If you can work hard and get me one more PGMP, I'm looking for that. By the way, it's not about my number. And when I say my number, I like to see that you're putting everything and I'm putting everything to make you successful. Otherwise, I can't just take all the appreciation of the whatever hard work you do. So, and by the way, my PfMP is now 99 PfMP. I need one more. I think next week I will have one more. I'll be celebrating my 100 PfMP very soon. So, yes, journey of PgMP, PfMP, and Susanna can talk highly about how I contributed. And mid of night, she's getting my response. And she was like, Dharam, are you sleeping? Do you ever sleep? So thank you all of you for being part of the journey, and people watching this on YouTube. And please put your comment. More comments on on LinkedIn or YouTube will help to reach to the more people. They can also benefit from the discussion, and share with your friends and colleagues. If you feel that something you like today, please share with your friends, and hopefully they can also benefit and they can also learn from these discussions. So on my YouTube channel, I think I have probably 50, 60 or 70 webinars, which I've done with many of the people. So please go back and look at my channel and subscribe it, and keep learning from that. It's not only me what I'm contributing. The people like Suzana, who has industry experience, they are also helping. Last week I did a webinar, great webinar with Justin, and that was, you should go back and listen to that. And next on 23rd or 20 something, 23rd, I'm working Dipender. He has passed the PfMP exam, and we're going to talk a lot of important topics. So please come back and keep listening and learning from that, and you also going to learn PDUs as well. So once again, I'd like to thank all of you, and appreciating your contribution by asking questions or participating in the questions. And I know some of you is midnight or late night, but whatever it is, you are passionate to learn. So my role is to bring people in front of you and ask questions, and your role is to keep learning from them. So not last, yes, thank you, Suzana. I cannot appreciate more, and the feedback I'm getting from people itself is telling me that you've done a good job. I am always already appreciating that, but people also appreciating the kind work you did by sharing the knowledge. And I was feeling sometimes whether you are a project manager, program manager, doctor, and you're talking transportation, you have vast knowledge, and you should appreciate yourself, and you're going to do good, really good, in your life. Thank you, and see you again very soon.
Thank you. And I'd just like to say thank you to all the questions. And people are more than welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, and Michael saying thank you, Suzana, Dharam, excellent session. So Michael, we have not talked for a long time, so let's have a plan meeting. All right, guys. So with this, I'll let you go and enjoy, and keep watching. Soon it will be on YouTube, so you will get an email about it. So thank you. Bye now. Take care.